Hi, good evening. Welcome to the June Alma talk show. And tonight, as a segue to our interview on fashion designer Malu Veloso, we have with us tonight the artists who will jointly have a project with her in her ancestral home. And the other one is popular architect Richard Bautista. Good evening, Richard. Welcome to the June Alma talk.
Hello, good evening. Yes.
And the other one is a painter and an artist too. And her name is Cynthia Aviado. Hello, Cynthia. Welcome to the June Alma talk show.
Hello, June, and hello.
Okay, so I understand you have an upcoming exhibit and featuring the ancestral home of the Antonios.
Yes.
And would you like to talk about it?
Well, primarily, I would like to invite everybody on June 10 for the opening of the ancestral house of the Antonios. Our project is called the Antonio Ancestral Home Project, and so I'm inviting all of you to the opening of Pandy Aviado's show at the Antonios home. I'd like to also say something about our architect idol, Antonio, Pablo Antonio, who built this home. I'd also like to tell all of you that although this home is privately owned, this is heritage for all of us. So it's important for all of you to see how our effort at preservation and conservation. And our project, this one with Pandy's opening on the 10th, is the first of many.
Thank you. Okay, there you have it. So what about architect Richard? What made you choose this enclave in the middle of the Pasay City, chaos with all the condominiums around? And it seems this is the only preserved heritage in the area?
Well, okay. Being in heritage conservation, what's nice with this house to say, in the recent years, we've been experiencing all these new trends in design. But one thing what's nice to see with this place is that the Philippines has been ahead of that trend. As they were saying, the green architecture. This house was built in the late 40s, and they did it. Pablo Antonio did it way ahead. Another thing that's so nice about this house, it's an oasis in the middle of so-called chaos. You'll be surprised to see what Pasay was, the grandeur that was. So you could just imagine, upon seeing this place, that the culture that transpired through times, how many decades, that it's so maintained. So the gentleness of the neighbor that was Pasay is still retained in this Pablo Antonio house. So that's something that I would love people to really, to somehow have a paradigm shift of their mindset of what Pasay is all about in present time. Look back and see the beauty so that they would somehow, seeing what was here, they would realize, oh, the beauty that we wanted, let's do it again. That's one thing I would say.
Okay, very good. So, during one of my interviews in a previous episode, I interviewed the famous architect June Palafox, and he was very vocal, talking against the government, saying that they caused the uglification, in quotes, uglification of the country, because looking around, we have all the resources, and all our people are really beautiful, and but in spite of that, compared to other countries, the city and the whole country is far, uglified. So how do you propose, each of you, because you're an artist, you're in the realm of, architecture, paintings, and fashion designing. So how do you propose to beautify and rectify the ugliness caused by our governments? Maybe start with Miss Veloso, Malu.
Well, you know that I'm opening this house for people to eat here by appointment. And by that, a lot of people, when they come, they tell me after, Malu, this place is so beautiful. Can we sort of imitate it, like the windows, and I said, of course. I said, I don't mind, and I'm sure my father would not mind. So, and my dad, like Richard was saying, he was way ahead of his time. He did not like air condition. He wanted trees. He wanted to plant trees. And I think that's what we're doing now. So when they come here, it's like they get inspired to make their homes also more green. So I think that's what they can get from coming here.
So it's like going back to nature and preserving the environment and helping in global warming and climate change. So what about architect? How do you propose we reverse the uglification of the city and the country?
Okay, in line with many things. One is there should be a paradigm shift towards the mindset of people. I mean, of course, we don't like what we're seeing, but as we like in relation to the totality of the intention of this project of using the Pablo Antonio House, you're creating now an enclave to somehow create that paradigm shift. Oh, there's a place here that we could hang out and try to influence the neighborhood to somehow create a better world. One thing is, it's similar to other projects I've done. I mean, from my hometown in Malabon, I made it popular, so people started to realize, hey, we have this, we have that. Recently, we've been doing Escolta. So you try to inject a new thought, and that creates something else, so that people would somehow have a place to participate. So as to Miss Malonto Beloso to have opened the door, it's really one great move.
Okay. So what about Cynthia? What is this theme going to be for the exhibit that you're going to put up so that you can influence towards beautifying the city?
Well, for one thing, we want to focus again on that Art Deco movement, of which the primary proponent here in the Philippines is Pablo Antonio. The other thing we want to make very clear here is that for us who live in urban areas, itong effort of Richard and other architects like him for preservations and conservations of our national heritage is very important. It will define your urban lifestyle, especially for the young kids now. They have to understand that this city didn't come up overnight. It is an old city. Manila is 600 years old, and you have to understand the structures, why they were there, what is the reason, and the ultimate meaning of all of that made this city. The city is the greatest invention of mankind. It's what makes us all urbanized people. And for us to have a really nice urban life, we have to look at our history. That's why the works in heritage and conservation, we have to thank Richard for this. And of course, we have to thank Malu and the girls, because they have opened their doors for us to enter this little bit of heaven here in the middle of Pasay. So this is very important, and this is important to our young children. They have to understand their city.
Okay, so you were mentioning that to beautify doesn't have to be expensive. And in fact, going back to nature, it's practically the best things in life are free. But, since people have to survive, you just have to, sort of just shoulder the basic sustenance for everybody. So it doesn't really, pad up the cost to make it really, so expensive. To sound like to beautify the city or the country, you will need to multiply the loans of the government and the poor tax-paying Filipino to be obliged to pay the kind of horrendous expenditure to sort of just to beautify as an excuse. So you were talking, Malu, about an Earth Day campaign on Saturday, and you said that this is like a showcase where inexpensive, knickknacks, food, and everything else will be sold to the public, and plants too. So would you like to talk about it?
Okay. This is the Earth Day, and we're trying to save the Arroceros Park. And so we sell mostly plants, and so that people can see the park wherein the underprivileged can enjoy also. It's free of charge. They can go there and they can stay. It's like a forest, and then on the side they can sit and see the Pasig River. It's very beautiful, and I think my cousin Nini Troses Paterno, we've been doing this for many years, and it's actually become so beautiful. It's like a forest. It's a mini forest. So I hope you can come on Saturday the 22nd between 10 to 12.
Okay, so there you have it, folks. And so before we end, we'd like to say that, we entice everybody to go back to nature, because after all, the best way to go, which is the least expensive way, is going natural. So please come and help beautify your own surroundings, and don't go against nature, but go against it. So in that note, we would like to say thank you, and hope you enjoyed our interviews tonight. And so we would like to invite you again for our next episode in the coming days and weeks. Thank you. This is June Alma from the June Alma Talk Show. This is June Alma for the June Alma Talk Show, and welcome once again to our fourth season. See you.